So when we're talking about volume of a shape, we're just simply looking at how many cubes can fit inside something. Our measuring unit is going to be cubes, okay? With a prism, kind of the best way to think about it is think about it in terms of layers, right? So looking at the picture here, you can see that the bottom of the shape, the base of the rectangular prism here is filled with cubes, right? The whole prism is broken down into cubes. The bottom layer is 4 by 3, so you can see from the picture it has a total of 12 cubes. We can then count and see how many cubes high that is. So there's 12 on the bottom layer, and then we can just count the layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 layers of 12 then would give us a total of, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. Okay, so the 5 layers would give us a total of that 60, in this case, cubic units. Okay, so when we find the volume of a prism in general, essentially we're following that same idea. We want to figure out how many cubes fit on the bottom layer, and then we want to figure out how many layers there are. Okay, now if we look at kind of these first problems in the homework assignment 11.5, we'll just go through and do a few practice of these, okay? So your generic formula for volume is simply going to be area of the base times the height, okay? So if I'm looking at my solid here, my rectangular prism, the base to find its area, we're going to do 7 times 6, and then we're going to multiply by the height of 3. So on a rectangular prism, essentially we are just multiplying our 3 numbers together. Okay, this will give you the area of the base, right? This is your height. So we could fit 42 cubes on the bottom layer, and there are 3 layers. So together that would be 126 cubes, right? And our measuring unit is going to be cubic feet, so feet to the 3rd power, all right? Now the second shape we have here is a triangular prism. Okay, so we're going to follow the same idea. Area of the base times the height. Okay, area of the base times the height. So the base, remember, on triangular prism is the triangle, right? So the area of the triangle, we're going to do 1/2, since it's a triangle, half of the base times the height. So half of 9 times 11. Okay, that'll get you the area of the triangle. And then the height of the prism is the distance between those triangles. So looking at the picture, right, the distance between the front triangle and back triangle is 12. That's your height. Again, don't confuse height with up and down. Height is the distance between the bases of a prism. Okay, so it's a lot like what we did before. We're essentially multiplying our 3 numbers, 9, 11, and 12. But because it's a triangle involved, right, the area of a triangle is half. So we do half times 9 times 11 times 12. Okay, and that's going to get you 594 cubic millimeters. Okay. Now, a cylinder is our next shape. So on a cylinder, again, we're just going to modify the formula to fit a cylinder. So area of the base is a circle. So we're going to go pi r squared, and then our height, okay, multiplied together. So in this case, I would go pi times radius is 5 times my height. Okay, punch that into a calculator, you get about 314 cubic yards. Okay. Now pyramid's a little bit different. Okay. So we're going to kind of the same general formula, but we have to make a modification. So I've got a model here. If you can see it, I've got a cube, and then I've got a pyramid. Okay. That fits in there nicely. So the cube and the pyramid have the exact same base size, and if you can tell, the height of the pyramid is the exact same as the height of the cube, right? So I'm going to fill my pyramid with water. Oops, a little blue thing dropped on there. That's okay. And I'm not going to fill it quite full just so I don't spill. So this is just a little bit under full so I don't spill on my computer. But if I dump that in there, you'll notice that the volume, and it's a little bit hard to see with the camera here and keeping it straight, but the volume is about a third of the volume of the cube. Okay, so a pyramid is going to hold a third of what the prism with the same base and height are going to hold. Okay, so we find the area of the base, so 4 times 4, since it's a square, and then our height is 6. Okay, and don't confuse height with slant height. Slant height is the height of the triangles, right? This is the height of the pyramid, how tall the pyramid is. So from the middle of the base to the tip of the pyramid. Okay, and then we want to do a third of that. And if you're using a calculator, the easiest way to do that is just divide by 3. Okay, so area of the base times the height, third of that, so divide by 3, and we'd end up with 32 centimeters cubed. Okay. And then our last shape here, a cone. A cone has the same relationship with the cylinder as the pyramid did with the prism, right? So if we think about cylinder with the same dimensions, where that's 5, that's 8. Okay. We get the area of the base, so pi r squared times the height. Well, just like with the pyramid, a cone is going to hold a third of what the cylinder that with the same dimensions is going to be. Okay. So we're going to do that. Get that out of there. Okay, so a third times pi times radius squared times height. So let's see, pi, your radius is 5. Your height is 8. And again, if you want to do a third on the calculator, the easiest way is just divide by 3. Okay, so pi times radius squared times height divided by 3, and that gets you about 209 cubic inches. Okay, so volume is just area of the base times the height. If you're doing a cone or you're doing a pyramid, you have to do a third of that because it's a third of the prism or the cylinder with the same dimensions. Okay, and again, your units are going to be, or your label is going to be whatever unit you're using cubed to the third power. Okay. If you're using this program here, right, your drop-down menu, easiest way to do that. Below the x squared is that x with the box. Click that. That'll give you, put your cursor up there. Or you can go Shift-6 on your keyboard. Okay.